I'm just going to start off with a few set of questions. You, Ellie, Carson, and Mary Kay, I'm going to ask you guys just a few questions, and don't worry, they have nothing to do with like English, math, or any of that good stuff. They're just simple questions about yourself. So really the only way to fail is by not answering the question, and there are no right or wrong answers. So sound good? Okay, Ellie, let's start with you. Why do you have long hair? Okay, well, I'm going to cut it. Sound good? No. Why not? Why not? You're asking for me to cut it.
No, I just told you that.
Well, no, by having long hair, you're asking for me to cut it, are you not?
No.
So you don't want me to cut your hair?
No.
Here you go. Okay. Carson, do you understand the meaning of the words no and stop?
Yes.
Do I look like the kind of person who understands the meaning of the words no and stop? Yeah. Okay. What were you to say if I were to ask you if I could cut off all your fingers? No. Okay, well, let's say I do it anyways. So I'm cutting off your fingers, and you're more than likely to tell me to what? Okay. Well, let's say I don't stop, and I just keep going finger after finger after finger, and you start crying. Now, would you say these are tears of joy or tears of pain? I'm going to choose to see them as tears of joy. Sound good? So you don't want me to cut off your fingers? No. Okay. Mary Kate, do you have a friend? Do you have a best friend? Yes. Can I be your friend? Yes. May I be your best friend? Yes. Okay. There are no right or wrong answers. No, but okay, so let's say we're best friends, which we are, obviously, and you invite me over to your house. Now, while I'm at your house, I start taking your things. Sound good?
No.
Why not? We're best friends.
Yeah,
but it's my stuff, too. I'm entitled to all of your things because we're best friends.
No, you're not.
So you don't want me to take your stuff even though we're best friends?
No, buy your own.
All right, fair enough. Congratulations, you guys all passed. Woohoo! Okay, now I know what many of you are probably thinking, what the crap was that? Like, none of these questions have any correlation to each other. CSI Miami doesn't come on till 5. Well, yes. Well, although these questions seem like they don't relate at all, they all relate through one main topic, rape culture. And these are the kind of questions that a rapist would indiscreetly ask you all without actually asking you. For example, or they make conclusions based off assumptions. For example, when I assumed, Ellie, that since you had long hair, you wanted me to cut it, that's the same exact way that a rapist is going to make a conclusion that based off of your appearance, if you're dressed in a certain way, that you want to have sex with that. Make sense? In the same way, they draw another conclusion in your example, Carson, where when I cut off your fingers and I chose to look at them as tears of joy instead of tears of pain, a rapist is going to look at body language and choose to believe whether or not that the sex that they just had with their victim was either consent or otherwise. And then another conclusion that a rapist would make based off assumptions is through friendship. The same way that Mary Kay, I concluded that I was entitled to all of your belongings because we're friends, is the same exact way that a rapist is going to conclude that since they have a relationship with their victim, that they're entitled to their body. Now, not only are these focal points of a rapist, these are also focal points of us as a society. Now, as a society, we begin to build our rape culture with these kind of questions. So now not only is the victim have a problem with their rapist, but now they also have a problem with the rapist and society. So as a society building this rape culture, we tend to do something called slut shaming. Now, slut shaming to me is extremely ironic, because, especially with society, because we're always telling our people to, be who you want to be, do you, and, live your life to the fullest. Well, what if my way of expressing myself and being who I want to be is by dressing provocatively? Or, well, not really, but, what if that's who I was? I should be able to do so, you know what I mean? And so with rape culture and slut shaming, we tend to call our females, or anyone really, whores and tramps and sluts. And my newfound favorite, runners, that's okay. Not only is that giving a bad name to our cross-country kids, but that's also given a bad name, or we're finding random words to further degrade our people. So that just goes to show you how bad rape culture has actually gotten. We have to find random words that mean a complete opposite to further degrade our people. Rape culture has gotten so bad that it's even spreading out through our schools, and it's even spread out through, TEDx right now, because originally we were told to dress comfortably. So comfortably meaning, however you want to dress, like do you, exactly. And however, the only circumstance was no leggings, no yoga pants, or no short shorts and things like that. So that really only left jeans, Bermuda shorts, and a dress. Now, we were also told, well, it's highly unrecommended to not wear a dress because it's really hard to put on the microphone onto a dress. So really, that only leaves us with jeans and with Bermuda shorts. Now, I don't really know about you guys, but I can never find a single pair of Bermuda shorts anywhere anymore. They literally only sell like the short little things that like go up your butt. No thanks. So really, that's only left us with jeans. Well, with me, because that's only left me with jeans. And it's summertime. I really don't want to wear jeans, but you know what? You gotta be presentable. And rape culture is the thing that pushed that the most. And rape culture is also spreading out through our schools and dress code. The other day, my friend was taken down to the attendance office because she was wearing spaghetti straps. Now, that's a problem in itself because rape culture has chosen to stop someone's learning because they were dressed a certain way. Now, that's just, you gotta wrap your brain around that. You've stopped someone for being successful because they were wearing spaghetti straps? Like, that doesn't make sense. And so, this just goes to prove you like how bad rape culture has gotten, because honestly, it doesn't matter if you're dressed in spaghetti straps or if you're dressed like covered from head to toe. You should be able to walk out on the streets, walk into a mall, or even walk into your school dressed comfortably or how you want to dress without the fear of being called a whore or a slut and things in that nature. So not only as a society with rape culture are we slut shaming, but we are also victim blaming, which leads me to my next topic. When we victim blame, as a society, we don't really realize when we're doing it, but if a sexual assault has occurred, the first question, well, not really the first question, but a question that's asked is, what were you doing? So not only is this implying that the victim was doing something to make the rapist want to rape them, or in other words, that they're asking for it, you're just telling them that what they have experienced is potentially invalid. And when you do these things, well, when people victim blame and they ask what the person were doing, more than likely the person was drunk, or they were under the influence, or dressed provocatively. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't care if I was drunk or if I was under the influence or whatever the circumstance may be. No means no, and yes means yes. I'm not giving consent, so therefore you can't do anything about it. Make sense? Oh, sorry. So now we are past, in rape culture, we are now past not only slut shaming, but victim blaming. And also with these questions, when we victim blame, we also tend to ask the question, what was the relationship between the victim and the rapist? Now, when it comes to society and rape culture and the relationship between the two, society as a whole, we kind of potentially choose to see, we choose the relationship over the actual, occurrence of the rape. And as a society, what we tend to do is if a victim cries rape, we say, okay, well, what was the relationship between you and this person? So if a victim cries rape and they say, and it was a relationship between the victim and the person, well, the relationship potentially overrides the rape, therefore it is consent. Does that make sense? So that just tends to blur, that tells you to start, that leads you to believe that whomever you have a relationship with, if they sexually assault you, if they do something that's not really well for your own being, and it's because you guys have a relationship, society is going to overlook the sexual assault, and they're going to look at the, the relationship and say, okay, well, that was like their girlfriend or boyfriend, so it must have been consent. Now, what people don't realize is that 4/5 of assaults are committed by someone known to the victim. And also, 47% of rapists are a friend or an acquaintance. Now, that's really scary because that means out of 100% of your friends, potentially 47% of them could possibly sexually assault someone. Now, when it comes to relationships and rape, it's evident that these two couples are in a relationship. Now, the female could be the rapist to the man, and the man could be a rapist to the female. It doesn't matter because the relationship is not what controls is not what controls the rape. And it has less to do with sex and more to do with power. And that's what we fail to realize as a society, especially when it comes to rape culture. Now, with this power, they have rapists or people who sexually assault, they tend to have so much power over the victim that 68% of assaults are not reported to the police. And 98% of rapists will never spend a day in jail. So this just means with rape culture, 98% of people as a society, we're endorsing rape culture. As for that other 2%, they're the ones who are trying to stop it. So how do we raise those numbers? How do we build that up, and how do we stop rape culture? Appearance, relationships, and actions mean absolutely nothing, especially when it comes to sexual assault or rape. Only no means no, and only yes means yes. As teenagers, ways that we can prevent it is if you see someone being slut-shamed, or try to prevent someone from slut-shaming, but if you see it, speak up, say something about it. Or if you see someone wearing spaghetti straps and that rape culture is still pretty prominent in the school or wherever you are, help them out. Maybe lend them your jacket or something in that nature. As far as actions go, if you know that someone's being sexually assaulted by a friend, a brother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend, no matter what the relationship, say something. Say something for them, because like I said, rape has less to do with sex and more to do with power. And also with actions. If you see that your friend or whomever it may be is not in a mental state to give consent, be that person to do it for them. Tell them this person isn't in a mental state to be able to give consent, so therefore they're not doing it. And as parents, what we can do for our children or for our younger generation is we already teach them not to lie, not to cheat or steal or any of that good stuff. But when it comes to rape culture and sexual assault, the message is clear. Don't get raped. Instead, we should be teaching don't rape at all. Now, with rape culture, there's a cycle. And as people, we are all a part of the cycle. The first step in the cycle is stranger danger. And with stranger danger, you tend to put up a wall against someone who you're not familiar with, who you don't know, which creates a barrier from potentially meeting someone who could be your future fiance or your future husband or whoever it may be. And so we want to try to eliminate that. Step 2 in this cycle is that all men are perverts. So not only is this shining a bad light on our men, but it's also not shining a light at all on those who have been sexually assaulted, not by males, but by females. So it's kind of like telling them what you have to say doesn't matter. The third step in this cycle, in rape culture cycle, is to blame the victim. Now that's a speech in its own. Now with blaming the victim, we've already been into that. It's so easy to kick someone while they're down. Now if you're still not convinced that you're part of rape culture or that you have nothing to do with it, just realize that as a stranger or as a man or as a victim, everybody's suffering. Now, I really don't know about you guys, but I'm really tired of suffering. I want to wear, my shorts that aren't Bermuda shorts to school, and I want to be able to wear spaghetti straps and all that good stuff. So what we need to do as a society to end rape culture is to speak up, stand up, and end rape culture. Thank you.